Good morning, I'm Mike Violette with Espresso Engineering. We're particularly pleased to have on the show Henry Ott of Henry Ott Consultants. Morning, Henry, how you doing?
Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
How are you enjoying the 50th EMC Symposium?
It's a little bit hot.
It's a little bit hot in Austin.
Yeah, the weather in Austin is a little bit hotter than New Jersey.
Austin in August. There's something else that's hot off the presses. Henry's new book, Electromagnetic Compatibility Engineering. Henry wrote his first book.
1976 came out, Noise Reduction Techniques in Electronic Systems. And then it came out again in 1988 as a second edition.
Certainly an iconic book. With this effort, Henry, who was the target audience for EMC engineering?
Well, basically it was written for practicing engineers rather than academics that really have to know about EMC since it's not taught, usually not taught in schools. Although it's also written in a way that can easily be converted into a senior level course or a continuing education type course. There's a lot of problems at the end of each chapter for reader to work out, and also all the problems have answers in the appendix.
So, in addition to the design, you have troubleshooting methods here?
Yeah, we do. The other books did not have that, but there's 6 new chapters in here. The last chapter is on pre-compliance EMC measurements, which are simple measurements you can do with probes, etc., in your own laboratory, as opposed to a legitimate EMC test chamber, test facility.
So you have setup methods and diagnostic instruments that the engineer can fashion himself?
Right, absolutely. And I think that's the most important thing, because you don't want to be taking your product back and forth to a test lab. You take it, it fails, you bring it back and try and fix it. Maybe it gets worse, you don't know, you bring it back, you're just spending money. So you don't have to do super accurate measurements yourself, but you have to have some idea whether things are getting better or worse, rather than just going to a test lab. Then when you finally think it's good, go to a good test lab and get it legitimately done.
Right. So this will save in design time, test time.
Absolutely, which all adds up to money.
Money and time to market too, these days.
But in today's world, time to market is, a very important thing. It's mostly written for designers, talking about system design, board design, shielding, grounding, cabling. But as you point out, we do have the pre-compliance EMC measurement things at the end. You also have a couple of chapters that don't exist, I don't think, in any other book. The whole chapter on PCB layer stack-up. You see very little talked about different stack-ups. We talk about different stack-ups from 2 layers to 14-layer boards. There's a whole chapter on mixed signal PCB layout.
Analog, digital.
That's a big hot topic lately, mixed signal boards.
There's also been a lot of move in power electronics over the last 15 years or so, inverter technology. Conducted emissions are an issue, high frequency conducted emissions. I'd say you have some sections on.
Yeah, that's interesting, because when I did the second edition of my Noise Reduction Techniques in Electronic Systems, I intended to put some conducted emission things in it. Never did because of time constraints. So when I started this, it was important to me, a priority, to put some conducted emission. There's a whole chapter on conducted emission, but instead of just switching power supplies, all of which is covered, we go into variable speed motor drives and things like that, which is, I think, what you're talking about with the high power electronics. That's a big hot issue with hybrid vehicles today and various other things.
And inverters for solar.
Yeah, so
wind power.
Matter of fact, if I had put conducted emission in the second edition, that wouldn't have been there, because we would have just talked about switching power supplies. But today, as you're pointing out, those things are in there, and we do cover that in a chapter on conducted emission.
Are you covering the wireless world a little bit here?
Not specifically, but the proper design techniques for boards and layouts and everything are the same regardless of the application, but we don't specifically emphasize the wireless world. Well, that's really an expanding part of the business.
Well, there was a session earlier on mobile applications, and so you're mixing digital, RF, power technologies, all.
Well, a little bit of that is in the mixed signal layout issue. We talk about the mixed signal, could be maybe low-level analog and high-level digital, or a lot of the analog part is now low-level RF because of wireless. So that little aspect of it is, but it's really not specifically directed to wireless.
Well, this looks like a great reference material for the bench or the desk.
Yeah, it is, and it's twice as big as my second edition of Noise Reduction Techniques, almost 900 pages. And I kind of got carried away when I worked. It took me 3.5 years to write it.
3.5 years, and you met the deadline. You're here. You're
well, we wanted
to
get it at the conference here, okay? And we really had to push. They ended up shipping those books directly from the bookbinder in order to get them here and not miss the conference. So that's how new it is. I mean, the first availability is right here in Austin.
So you're seeing it here for the first time, Electromagnetic Compatibility Engineering by Henry Ott, by Wiley Press. You can get it online, or you can get it through
Amazon
IEEE.
and all the online ones have it, and of course at the symposium we have it at the bookstore here at the symposium.
Well, it's going to be on my shelf pretty soon. Henry, thanks for coming by.
Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks
Hey,
very much.
yeah.
Enjoyed it. No,
Good.
that's good. Yeah.